kama unafanya freelancing or something like that. Someone is saying that they cannot hear me. Am I audible, ladies and gentlemen? I just want to know if I'm audible, really. Kama mnanisikia vizuri. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining in the session tonight. Tonight's session is just a very simple session on freelancing. You can see a number of people who are actually saying that they are freelancers. Freelancers. Yeah. We are supposed to start at 20:45 hours. All right. Good. So our conversation today is basically about simple things like how you actually get started as a freelancer, what freelancing is, and what it actually means to be a freelancer. That's the conversation that you're going to be having tonight, talking about what freelancing is and how you can get started as a freelancer. Now, freelancing is probably one of the things that you will find people really talking about in Kenya. And it's, yes, the session is being recorded. We are recording the session. And maybe if I ask me this question, someone is saying, ni mimi tu sisikii kitu ama tuko wengi. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible enough? Someone is saying that they cannot hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you for everyone who's joined the session, wherever you're joining from. Good. Our topic of discussion today is about freelancing. And one of the things that I personally believe is that we can all actually get started in freelancing as an income source for ourselves. One of the things that most people suffer from is lack of employment. Is there anyone over here who's been looking for a job for the past like 2-3 years? Anyone? Like you've been looking for a job consistently? Well, it's a common phenomenon. It's a common thing that you're going to find in Kenya today. So many people are looking for jobs. So many people are trying to actually get employment opportunity. Well, it is not so easy to come by, all right? Yeah, it is not so easy to actually come by employment. Mimi nilifanya degree ya procurement. Do you have any guys who've done procurement over here? Watu wamefanya degree ya procurement? Is there anyone over here who has a degree in procurement? Mimi, I did procurement in school. I was in a university called Dedan Kimathi University. Yeah. After undertaking my degree in procurement, the expectation is that after you finish that particular degree, it is very easy for you to get a job. It's a mentality that so many of us actually have. But the most unfortunate thing is, well, employment is not so easy to come by. And I had to retort to something else, that is start doing something else. And I thought, well, why not try this thing called freelancing? And it has taken me a long time to really get to understand what freelancing is. And in this particular session tonight, I just want to talk about what freelancing is. Probably so many people have heard the words, hey, freelancing, freelancing, freelancing. But the biggest question you might be having yourself is, what is freelancing? Thank you so much for everyone who's joined the session. We're over 500 at the moment. Over 500 people are part of this particular session. And I really hope that you learned something tonight. Next week on Monday, we will be starting our classes. They're called Night School Computer Literacy and Digital Literacy classes. These are classes that are meant to equip you with the necessary skills that you might need, all right? That you might need, especially when it comes to, using your computer. And really, before you even say something like you want to start working online, I think it's important for you to understand how to use your computers. The charges are 2,500 Kenyan shillings. The sessions are actually going to be 9. They're going to be virtual sessions. I'm breaking. Someone is saying I'm breaking. Is my sound okay? Susan? Is my sound okay? Susan? Okay. Someone is saying, but if at any chance you hear my voice breaking, you please tell me. So yeah. Now, in our session today, I really want to talk about what freelancing is. Because I'm always getting messages from people every single day. Elvis, what is freelancing? You want to really understand what freelancing is. I have never heard of anyone who is a freelancer. So in our session today, we're talking about that. And I'd like to welcome you to our classes on Night School, starting next week on Monday, as I said earlier. They're classes that are meant to help you understand computer literacy. We start with an introduction to computers. We're going to be doing also getting into the Google Workspace, talking about Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. We will also talk a little bit about ChatGPT, that is introducing artificial intelligence. We will also talk about Canva. And most important, we are actually going to look at the most practical things that you can actually get to do with your laptop or your computer. And I welcome you to those particular sessions. Introduction to freelancing, ladies and gentlemen. Introduction to freelancing. So what is freelancing? That is one of the biggest questions that someone could actually be having. What is freelancing? And I will respond in a very simple manner. My name is Elvis, by the way. I am a digital creator. I don't know why in these slides, I called myself a freelancing coach. I have never coached people on freelancing before. Yeah, but I'm just a digital creator and a guy who shares a lot of thoughts on TikTok and social media. Apart from that, I also believe in the importance of people getting to acquire necessary skills, especially some of the skills I talk about, like graphic design. So what is the purpose of this particular session, you might be wondering? Now, the reason as to why we are having this session is we're going to be learning how freelancing works, where to start, and how to build a sustainable income online from Kenya or anywhere in Africa. Majority of my audience is African. So many people who actually follow me are Africans. And in our session today, we are talking about what it would take for you to actually get to become a freelancer. So, my name is Elvis. I am a digital creator. I am also passionate about helping Africans monetize their digital skills. That is my name. I majorly create content on TikTok. I also create content on Facebook. I also create content on Instagram, as well as other social media platforms. I'm on LinkedIn. You can search for any name, Elvis W. I think I'm going to pop up in so many places. All right. So, yeah, that is me. And I talk a lot on social media. So sometimes I might share perspectives that might piss you off. But if I piss you off with my perspectives and what I actually get to say, I am honestly sorry sometimes. But I believe in the things being said as they are. All right. So we're going to be looking at what is freelancing. I'm going to give you a simple explanation of what freelancing is. We will also look at why freelancing actually matters in 2025. Why is freelancing important in 2025? That's a question we're actually going to be trying to answer. And then we're also going to try and look at how to actually get started as a freelancer in 2025. We're also going to be looking at some of the essential tools that you might need as a freelancer. We will also look at platforms and the various skills that you might learn. It's a very short, very simple session. We're also going to be having a live question and answer. You can actually send your questions in the chat section. I'll be trying to respond to them as we move on. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is freelancing? That is the first question you might actually want to ask yourself. What is freelancing? What is freelancing? Now, a very simple definition of what freelancing is it is when you offer services to clients without having to be employed full-time. Let me repeat that. Freelancing is just being able to offer services to clients without having to be employed full-time. You can work on your own terms and you get paid per project or per task. And you can serve multiple clients at once. So as compared to what the traditional kind of employment system that we have, freelancing takes a different approach. So what is the approach? You can work anywhere, you can work for anyone, and you can actually you don't have to actually get employed full-time, all right? How many people over here, like I was telling someone the other day, you get paid 20,000 Kenyan shillings every month, and you're employed in a place that says that you have to work 8 hours or 10 hours in a day. Now, as a freelancer, you dictate your terms. Now, there's a video I made on social media some time back, and I was telling guys that how many people live in the place that you live? There's a guy every day when you're going to work, probably they're going to the gym. And if they're not going to the gym, they're just in the balcony, just doing something that you don't understand, or they're probably checking their phones or checking their computers. Sometimes you have to ask yourself the question of what this particular guy is doing. Now, there's someone who was actually calling them a scammer. You can call them a scammer. But for me, I think these are some pretty brilliant people. The thing is, Kasanga, Kasanga is laughing all through. Let me remove a guy over here. There's a guy who is laughing. When I say something, he's laughing. This one is an interesting character. Let me remove him from the session. At least he goes and laughs elsewhere. Kasanga, you can be leaving, because the moment I find your name, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to make you leave immediately. Please leave the session. But you cannot be sending emojis all into the session. Let me remove you. Oh, for those guys who might be wondering why I'm speaking to Kasanga, is because we are live on Google Meet and he's doing some jokes. Anyway, let me talk about a little bit about some examples of freelance services. Okay, freelance services. Now, some of the services you might provide as a freelancer. That is one of the biggest questions you might ask yourself. Number one is graphic design. How many people have heard of graphic design before? There's a time I mentioned graphic design and someone was like, Jesus Christ, what do you mean graphic design? Graphic design, what do you mean graphic design? Graphic design, you can design logos, posters, and social media content and get paid. One of the things that most people don't really get to understand is that today, I think graphic designers are actually in high demand. Yeah, that is one of the examples of freelance services that you can actually get to provide. We also have something like writing blog posts, articles, and scripts. How many people over here have done online writing before? Do you have anyone over here who's done online writing before? Like if you've done online writing in any case. I think so many people have actually done that thing. I did online writing the first time and the guy scammed me. And I was like, I don't want to be part of this thing again. Yeah. He was supposed to pay me 300 shillings. He was supposed to pay me 300 shillings and he ended up disappearing with the money. It was not a problem anyway. Number three, a service that you can actually get to provide as a freelancer is web development. How many people know how to create websites using WordPress? How many people know how to create websites using WordPress? Yes, you can actually get to provide your services as a web developer. You can even do web design using WordPress. You design landing pages for people. Yeah, that's one of the ways that you can actually get to make an income stream, right? Virtual assistants. How many people over here are virtual assistants? Yeah, virtual assistants. Is there anyone over here who is that? Someone is saying they cannot see my screen. Is my screen visible, ladies and gentlemen? It has to be very visible. It has to be very, very visible. Good. You can actually also become a virtual assistant. You can also become a virtual assistant, right? That is one of the things that you can actually do. Email management. You can also do some admin work. You see, one of the things that people don't know is that there are people who are always busy. They don't have time to go and check their emails. They don't have time to go and respond to their comments on social media. So what do? They go ahead and get who? A virtual assistant. A virtual assistant is going to help you in doing what? They're going to manage every single thing that you actually do. Administration work. It's a very good thing, right? Virtual assistants. But so many people are quick to say that they are virtual assistants, but they don't even understand that being a virtual assistant requires for you to have so many skills, right? No, I don't want to talk about that. Another service that you can also offer, which is an example of a freelance service, is video editing, right? So many of us want to create content, all right? So many of us actually want to create content. But now the biggest problem that exists is, yes, we want to shoot our videos and edit them, okay? Do we have the skills necessary to edit those videos? No. So that is where a video editor actually comes in. You get a video editor to edit your videos. That is another example of a freelance service. And you see, the good thing about these services is that you don't even have to be in a physical premise to do all this work. You can work from home. And that is why we are calling them freelance services, right? In fact, you can travel as you work. I tell people all the time, why don't you open yourself to the extent that instead of you trading your time for money, you make sure that you have systems in place that allow you to save on your time, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, that's examples of freelance services. Now let me proceed on. A key trait. Sorry about that. That was a bit of an internet problem. Wait, I think I understand now the reason as to why we're having this bit of an issue. I've never had a webinar that has 800 people. I have 412 people on I have 412 people on Google Meet, 266 on TikTok, and 144 on. It's around like 800 people, guy. It's a good number anyway. So we were talking about key traits of freelancers. I'm hoping I'm audible, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm hoping you can actually hear me. Good. Now, one of the key traits of a freelancer is that you're self-employed and you're not tied to one company. Okay? As a freelancer, you're self-employed, not tied to one company. I think there are people who call themselves self-employed, and I think they're just a joke, right? If you're self-employed, one of the things you have to understand, and allow me to use French. And for those guys maybe who don't understand, French is Swahili, right? The guys who call themselves self-employed and they do nothing from morning to evening, but you call yourself self-employed, yeah? So in as much as you're saying that you're self-employed, you have to be doing something that is meaningful, all right? Now, what are some of the misconceptions that we have about freelancing? Now, there are some things that people still believe about freelancing, and I find really awkward. Number one is that freelancing is not a real job. Whoever says such things, sometimes, kuna watu tu nasikia kupiga makofi. You want to slap some people. There are people who believe that because you work from home and you're a freelancer, that you're not working. You should go to an office. Listen, freelancers power businesses worldwide, from startups to multinationals. Now, here's what I mean. Do you know, like, for example, if you go to a website, like, let me just show it to you. Huh? There's a website over here called is it Himalayas, something. It allows you to actually go and look for remote jobs. And you can actually see the extent at which companies and people are actually looking for skilled individuals. Like if you look at all this, like if you come over here and you, for example, just scroll down, like for example, if you wanted to post a job, you can easily post a job over here. But for me, you can easily get to even look for like maybe an employment opportunity. Like for example, I can come and search for a role. Like search for anything about social media manager. Sorry, let me get it over here. If you search for something like social media manager, still loading, social media management, and you can search and say, from which country do you need a job? Like, for example, if you want only 100%, then you click on search. You're going to realize that you're going to find so many jobs over here. They're posted almost every single day, all right? They're always here. If you look at some of them, they're actually hiring from any part of the world, all right? From any part of the world. What does it mean? You don't have to be in that part of the world for you to actually get to deliver that particular service, all right? You can work from your country and get paid. That is what we actually say as freelancing. Now, that is part of remote work. That one we'll talk about some other time. Now, there's another thing that people also believe. They say that you must be a tech guru. They say that you must be a tech guru for you to actually get started in freelancing. I don't believe that. If you just have some basic skills like writing, communication, and even be able to understand how to use Canva. Is there anyone over here who understands how to use Canva, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone over here who knows how to use Canva? I think everyone should be knowing how to use Canva. Even your pastors and your priests, they need to be knowing how to use Canva. Every single person needs to be knowing how to use Canva. Even ChatGPT. You can easily get paid to do some things. Like, for example, you can design posters for people. Yeah. You design posters for people and even charge like $5 and get paid. Yeah. The whole idea is just understanding some very simple basic stuff. And you see, the problem, I'm seeing someone saying, I'm a pro in Canva. We will get to that. So many guys are very good at talking. Listen, wacha nitumie kizungu mzuri. Mdomo mingi is not what is actually going to sell. What sells is your abilities. You might have a big mouth and say that you're very good in this. Stop talking a lot, show people. All right? Wacha kelele mingi. Stop saying that you're a pro. Stop saying, show us what you've done. Hey, I can design logos. I can design a lot of logos in this. I can do a lot of logos, by the way. I can even edit photos. When you're told to present something, unaanza kusema, give me 24 hours, and then you go missing. All right? Yeah? Someone is saying, mudomo mingi acha. Yeah? Anyway, another thing is freelancing doesn't earn well. I personally don't believe that, because for me, I think as a freelancer, you are actually able to set your own rates. Right? And it's interesting enough that you can be a freelancer and even earn more than full-time employees. Let me explain it in this manner. There's a time in 2023, I was offered a job as a graphic designer in Nairobi, and the salary was 50,000 Kenyan shillings. 50,000 shillings was like a lot of money at that time. But then I did some maths and realized, like, this guy is hiring me to do graphic and web design. If I design one website can pay me around 35,000 Kenyan shillings at that time. And at that time, I was doing like maybe 2 or 3 websites a month. And I used to have graphic design gigs. I used to do posters. I used to do flyers. Mind you, I don't have to meet my clients, because nowadays, if you want to agree with a client, you can do a Zoom meeting, right? The client explains to you what they're looking for, and you can do it for them, all right? So the whole idea behind freelancing is that you can even earn better than some of the people who are actually employed. And freelancing does earn well, by the way. Let me just demystify that. Freelancing does earn well, all right? So let me open up the truth. Freelancing, number one, is real. You work, you deliver, you get paid. Let me repeat that. Freelancing is real. You work, you deliver, you get paid. Number two, it is scalable. You can grow from side gigs to a full agency. Like, let's say you're a video editor, you're a professional video editor, and you know how to edit videos so well, okay? You do these videos by yourself. As you scale up, like as you get better in what you do, you now decide, okay, fine. I think now it's time for me to go and register my own business and start offering my services as an agency, all right? An agency is where you go, you register your business, and now you're a fully accredited and recognized business. Freelancing is skill-based. What matters is what you can do, not your degree or your title. Makaratasi, your papers don't matter. Like, if you even go and try and look for a remote job, you realize one thing. Most companies are hiring your expertise. They're not hiring your papers. And this is a message I like to share with most Kenyans. They disagree with me, and they call me a fool, and they call me a witch. Don't know what. There's a guy who was calling me mrogi. But listen, you have your millions of papers. You have ukona makaratasi kutoka hapa hadi Mombasa. But if you think about it, which papers, those papers, are they giving you a job? And in fact, like I try to give this example. When you're hiring a plumber, you want a plumber to come and do some repairs in your house. Atengeneze, maybe you want them to repair your sink. Do you normally go and tell the plumber, Ebu show me your certificate, your KCP, KCSE, and show me your degree? Or no, you hire their expertise. In fact, you're going to say, Ebu nitafutie the best plumber. All right? You're hiring expertise. And how is it that now, as human beings right now, we want to be hired because of our papers? I still find it very, I don't know how to call it, but someone finishes school, you go back to school again to get another paper. Freelancing is about skills. Freelancing is about your abilities. It is not about your papers. No one cares about your millions and millions of papers. No one cares about your masters. In fact, there are freelancers who are basically like 22 years old. They're doing better than the 35-year-old doctorate holder, right? The idea is that you need to understand how to do things. Most people just have credentials. I call them makartas. Makartas is not going to take you anywhere, all right? So the thing is, for freelancing, you need a skill stack. And skills don't care about your papers, they care about your abilities. Yes, a certificate is good enough, but you're not going to submit a certificate to anyone and they give you a job in 2025. Why? Because people are looking for abilities. That is freelancing. So, why is freelancing important in 2025? Number one, remote work is now mainstream. Right now, there is a whole emergence of remote work. Remote work, basically, companies around the world are hiring remote freelancers to cut costs and access global talent. One of the countries that is actually experiencing that a lot today is Kenya. Why? Kenya happens to have a huge amount, or is it amount? A huge number of young people who are actually skilled. You're the ones who've been training ChatGPT and OpenAI's everything, right? So there is a demand because, first of all, remote work is now like a thing. Tools like Zoom, Slack, Trello, and Google Workspace make collaboration possible from anywhere. Yeah. Like you don't even need to be in an office in New York for you to actually get to deliver a service to someone. You can deliver it while you're still in Kenya. You no longer need to live in Nairobi or New York to work for international clients. You just need the necessary skills and a stable internet connection. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to pose this question. How many people have internet connection in their houses? I'd like to ask that question. How many people have internet in their houses? Na it's not the internet yenye inasikianga baridi. Hii internet yenye inazimanga every 2 minutes imezima, you're restarting your router. Like good internet. Good internet. By good internet, Zuku is not included in that pack. There's a company called Zuku in Kenya. That's probably one of the worst Wi-Fis. Yeah. It disappears today, comes back after 5 days, and then they send you an invoice on the 6th day. And then you're wondering, okay. Yeah. Internet is pretty much important, ladies and gentlemen. Internet is very, very important. This is it's going to allow you to actually just work easily online and get to deliver your services. Number two, clients are global and always hiring. I don't know why most Kenyans, first of all, we have a bit of a mentality where we think that since there's no opportunity in Kenya, we can't get clients outside the world. Listen, every day, businesses in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, they post freelancing jobs online. I've given you an example of a website called Himalayas. If you go to a website like We Work Remotely, you're going to find a lot of information. All right. You're going to find the number of jobs that are actually available over there. All right. These clients are actually looking for affordable, reliable talent, and Kenyan freelancers are actually rising to meet that demand. Go on LinkedIn. If you want to know go on LinkedIn and you're going to see digital marketing, social media managers. All right. Search engine optimization, guys who are very good in that. All right. Search engine marketing, social media marketers. They're being hired, but they're being hired because of their abilities. You're not just limited to Kenyan employers. With platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and LinkedIn, your market is global. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and LinkedIn, they allow you to position yourself to a level where you don't have to really rely on local clients. You can rely on international clients. Okay. Number three, there is a rise of AI and productivity tools. Some of the things that we used to struggle with in the past are now easier with the use of AI. Knowing how to use an AI tool as simple as ChatGPT or even an AI tool like DeepSeek is probably going to position you ahead. Okay. That is the world that we're actually living in right now. You don't need to be a professional designer or writer. You just need to know how to use the right tools. You might not be the best person who knows how to do copywriting, but you just know how to use ChatGPT so well for copywriting. All right. And I want to say this, AI has lowered the barrier of entry. Beginners can now create professional work faster and more efficiently. All right. That is the best thing about the existence of artificial intelligence in 2025. Number four is this, ladies and gentlemen, the Kenyan context. Let's think about it because this is one of the things I was actually trying to ponder on. If we look at a Kenyan context, number one, youth unemployment remains high. All right. Most youths have smartphones, internet access, and creativity. I honestly want to tell you one thing. The reason as to why you see recently there has been a war of Kenya and Tanzania. And obviously, who else can beat us. Yeah, no one is going to beat Kenya. Why? We have a very educated bunch of youth. Like, we are probably so educated. If you want to test it out, just go and listen to some of the content that most of us young people are actually creating on social media. I spend some time listening critically to the content that guys are actually churning out, especially on TikTok, and you'll be shocked. We have expertise. Yeah. But the biggest problem and the biggest fallacy that that was sold to us was the idea that you have to go to school, get a degree, and get a job. I honestly think that was where everything went wrong. But that doesn't limit you. Okay? Despite you having papers and everything, you have the ability to sit down and spend some time and learn something that is actually going to allow you to not only keep waiting for formal employment, but you have the ability to build your own online income. Let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. Kenya has M-Pesa. Kenya has M-Pesa. And M-Pesa can be used to collect payments. I also believe you can receive money from United States directly to M-Pesa. Second, we have a platform called Interend. I'm not promoting this platform, but I'm honestly telling you that I've been using these guys, and it's a Kenyan, I think it's Kenyan. I really hope it's Kenyan, because Interend can really help you as a freelancer, especially when you have a registered business. This is what I mean. You have a client in the United States of America. They want to pay you using a card. All right. You don't know how, I'm not very sure. There are many platforms. Yeah, okay, good. Interend is Kenyan. Pretty good. Amazing. You have a client who needs to pay you from US to Kenya. M-Pesa is one option, but Interend makes everything easy for you. You can actually create a payment link. You can even create an invoice very easily on the platform and get paid. So this is one of the things that allows you to run a freelance business and receive payments very easily in Kenya. You're not limited to boundaries, okay? You're not limited to borders, let me say that. I think Interend can also work in Tanzania. It can work in a number of African countries. But freelancing allows you to get payments from any part of the world, especially using platforms like Interend. I've heard stories about platforms like PesaPal. I don't recommend it. I think Interend probably is the best platform for you as a freelancer to actually get to start collecting payments, especially from your clients. That's a very, very good platform, and I'm very proud to actually say it works. Okay? Number 4, the digital economy is growing very fast, and freelancing is no longer just a hustle, it is a career path. There are so many people who've created careers out of freelancing. Yeah? You don't have to work in an office, but you can deliver your services from home. Okay? I have 2 very good ladies who work for me. We don't even meet. This is probably like 2 months. They work for me from their houses and they deliver their services properly. Okay? So this is not just at your side hustle. There are people who used to call it a side hustle. People are actually creating a full something they're doing all just after, not getting the formal employment that they've been looking for. Plus, I also think formal employment in Kenya is very manipulative. Let me not lie, because I don't understand why you could be offering someone a salary of 10,000 Kenyan shillings in Nairobi in 2025 per month. 10,000 Kenyan shillings in Nairobi in 2025. Let me give you a point in case. The reason as to why I actually started freelancing is KRA. I was in KRA Southern Region, and we were in attachment. So normally in Mombasa, you have to receive a stipend. The stipend was 7,000 Kenyan shillings. You can imagine 7,000 shillings every month in Mombasa. 7,000 Kenyan shillings. And here's the thing, these guys used to tax that money. We used to get like 5,600. And these guys used to pay around the 18th of every month. So what have you been eating? What are you doing? And that was it for me. And I decided that this is something I'll never ever want to do again. And for me, my plea is to many youth. Listen, you're not getting employment. That is not a problem. The next thing is for you to think about what you can do. So what you can do is learning a skill that allows you to know how to do something so well, and then you can take this particular skill and package it as a service, and people can actually buy your services. So let me continue, ladies and gentlemen. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Are we still together? Are we still together? Good. Wow, I've never had a webinar that has 900 people. Now we are at 950 something. I mean, that's amazing. Good. Now, the opportunity to actually start freelancing is now. One of the things about freelancing is that you don't need a degree to start. You don't need a degree to start freelancing. You need a skill, a system, and a strategy. Let me repeat that. You don't need a degree to start freelancing. You need a skill, a system, and a strategy. That's something I want you to think about. You need a skill, a system, and a strategy. Freelancing in 2025 is about using the internet to earn consistently. Let me say this, consistently, professionally. There are most guys who think that freelancing it's a professional thing. Professionally and independently. You don't have to rely on companies, you don't have to rely on businesses, you don't have to rely on employment opportunities. You can do it independently. All right? So let me break it down for you. How do freelancers actually get paid? Now, there are various payment models that you can have as a freelancer. Payment model number one is you're paid per project. So what do I mean that you get paid per project? You charge a fixed amount of money for a specific task. An example would be charging 8,000 Kenyan shillings for a logo. Or you can charge per hour. So you charge by your time. An example would be $10 per hour for virtual assistant tasks. This one happens to work very well on Upwork. Number three, you can charge monthly retainers. You can charge monthly, actually, I think it's monthly or weekly retainers. So clients will pay you a set amount of money every month for ongoing work. Example is 25,000 Kenyan shillings every month to manage social media platforms. That is what we refer to as a monthly retainer. You can have a weekly retainer, 5,000 Kenyan shillings every week for social media management services or LinkedIn management services. We have payment platforms, global and local. Number one is PayPal. It is popular for receiving payments from international clients. There's another one called Wise. It's best for direct bank transfers in USD, Euro, or pounds. Number three is Interend. For anyone probably in Kenya or just around East Africa and Africa, Interend is probably one of the best platforms you can use. It is a Kenyan-friendly platform that allows you to get payments in USD, Kenyan shillings. And the best thing about it is that you can actually get to withdraw directly to M-Pesa or to your bank account. And it is instant. That is the best thing about it. Number four, a payment platform that you can use is M-Pesa. This one is ideal for local freelance work. Like if you have a local client, you don't have to bother them with bank transfers. They can send you the money directly to M-Pesa. When you register your business, you can just go ahead and get a till number. You can walk to a bank like I&M Bank, create a bank account, open a bank account, especially for your business if you have a registered business. And I believe those guys can actually provide you with a pay bill or a till number. So an example is you're a graphic designer who specializes in logo design services. So your logo design services, you charge maybe 5,000 shillings per project. So when a client is probably supposed to send you a deposit, most of the time you don't want the money coming to your M-Pesa. You can use a bank account that is linked to a till number. All right. You just need to give a bank these instructions that you go, you open a bank account for your business after registering your business on eCitizen. And remember, here's one thing I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all normalize knowing how to use our own systems. Like go and learn how to register a business on eCitizen. It is really going to help you. Okay. So M-Pesa is one way for you to actually get paid locally in Kenya for freelance work. Always agree on payment terms before you start. Deposit first or use milestones. If you're charging 5,000 shillings for a project, you agree on a 50% deposit before the work begins. That is 2,500 Kenyan shillings. Or you agree this. Since you don't want to pay me, I'm going to send you the first 3 drafts of the logo, after which you're going to send me a 60% deposit. That is how you use milestones to actually collect payments from clients. All right. So let me give you an example of simple rates that you can use. This is an example of simple rates. These are realistic rates that you can actually use as a beginner. For example, for logo design, I'm going to give you the rate in Kenyan shillings as well as the rate in USD. Logo design, you can charge between 5,000 to 10,000 Kenyan shillings. The cheaper, the better. I normally say, sorry about that. I normally say that if you can get paid 3,000 shillings, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose your skill. So there's logo design. And another example would be blog articles. Like, for example, if you want to do blog articles, you can charge between 2,000 to 4,000 Kenyan shillings, or you can charge between $15 to $30 if your rate is going to be USD. Another example would be setting up a website using WordPress. Okay, how much do you charge? So you can charge between 15,000 shillings to 40,000 Kenyan shillings. That is if you're charging in Kenyan shillings. If you're charging in dollars, $100 to $300. Social media management monthly, you can charge between 20,000 to 60,000 Kenyan shillings, or you can charge $150 to $400. That's an example. For those guys who do transcription, I don't know how this works, but I just added it for you. I don't know if it still exists, but you can charge between 1,500 to 2,500 shillings per hour of audio, or $12 to $20 per hour of audio. Remember, I don't know anything about transcription. I think transcription has really been replaced by artificial intelligence, but I just had to mention it. Now, there's something I'm going to say. Never ever take jobs because of exposure. Someone comes and tells you, you do the logo for me. I will expose you to so many people who are in my circle. Never ever do that. It's doing free work. Never ever agree to something like that. Exposure does not pay your bills. If you're a freelancer, make sure you deliver your services. After you deliver your services, you need to get paid. Exposure, hiyo tuliachia watu wa muziki. Number 2 is set boundaries. Set boundaries. Don't do free work unless it's part of your portfolio building strategy. If you're building your portfolio, that is when you can actually take free work. Number 3, track your payments. Track your payments. Use a tool like Notion, Google Sheets, or Bonsai. Yeah, najua kuna watu hawajaisikia kitu kama Bonsai. How many people are hearing Bonsai for the first time? Bonsai. How many people are hearing the word Bonsai? Go search Bonsai. You probably don't know how to manage your clients. Bonsai is a very good tool, and pay for it. Most freelancers in Kenya cannot charge 3,000 shillings for a system that is going to save you a lot of time and effort. Bonsai is an amazing platform. You manage your clients, you manage contracts. Like, for example, when you're dealing with a client, you send them a contract. You can send them the contract on Bonsai. Okay? Yeah, Odoo is also a good one. Odoo is a good one. But Bonsai happens to really favor freelancers. Bonsai is crafted and made mostly for freelancers. That is one of the reasons as to why I actually like the tool itself. All right? So that's a recommendation. Now, what can you actually get to offer as a freelancer? What can you get to offer? Which are some of the services that you can get to offer as a freelancer? Number 1 is there are some entry-level services. You don't need a degree in tech to actually get to offer these services. Number 1 is article and blog writing. You can do graphic design using Canva. Transcription, a red flag, huge red flag, but I don't believe in it. Virtual assistants, you can provide email management services, scheduling, data entry. All right. Social media management, I highly recommended. Social media management is highly recommended. Especially for ladies, this one is highly recommended. Graphic design, very, very recommended, especially with Canva. Learn how to use Canva. You can create posters, social media content, and you can even do ebooks for people, and they will pay you for that. All right. There is also online research. Online research is another thing where you gather data or insights for clients. You can also do customer support where you chat with people on behalf of a client. Yeah. Like, for example, you have a WhatsApp account. You don't have time to respond to messages. You just get someone. They can do the support for you, even on your email. So you can actually be someone who does that. You see, some of the basic things that can allow you to get paid. Very, very basic. Let's go to the next part, which is advanced when it comes to some advanced things that you can actually get to do. These are intermediate services, all right? These ones are ideal once you gain experience, especially after you take a few classes. Number 1 is web design. Web design is probably one of the leading things that you can actually get to offer. Web design. You design websites for businesses. You can do blogs. You can even create e-commerce websites. You get paid for that. Number 2 is SEO services, search engine optimization services. You help websites rank on Google. You're going to actually get paid for that. Brand identity design. You design logos, color palettes, and social media kits. You get paid for that. Social media strategy. Social media campaign planning, analytics, and content calendars. You help people with organizing their content and you get paid. Presentation design, pitch decks, slide decks, and PowerPoint or Google Slides. Okay? Presentation design. I've never seen that on LinkedIn. Like if someone was clever enough and you position yourself as a presentation designer on LinkedIn, I can tell you that you're going to get so many gigs. Why? Because so many coaches are there, so many teachers are there, so many entrepreneurs are there. They want pitch decks, they want slide decks, they want presentations. You can do that. Think about that. Email marketing. Probably it's your first time hearing about email marketing. You can help people with designing newsletters, helping them understand how to create email automations. You know, one of the things that you find in Kenya today is we don't like to read our emails. But there is someone who is always sending you an email every day. And you're like, who is this person every day? Who is this sending me an email every day? What they're doing is email marketing. All right. So you can help people with setting up email automations, designing newsletters, and get paid for that. You can also help people with course setup. People don't know how to set up their courses. I have never had someone in Kenya who helps people with setting up courses. I want to set up a course online. All right. I want to set up a course online. I don't know how to do it. Can you help me do that? That is helping people set up their courses. And this one might be a little bit technical. You need to understand how to use platforms like Landash or Tutor LMS. These ones are WordPress powered plugins that help people sell and dispense courses online. So you can easily get to help people, set up their courses online. And it's another thing. Good. So let me proceed on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's a tip I'll share for you as a beginner. Number one is start small, practice, create sample projects, offer services on platforms or to local businesses. Listen, you've learned how to design posters. The next thing, you might say that you want to stay with that skill of yours. No, don't stay with it. Practice. If you can offer your services for free to someone, offer them, right? The more you offer these services, the better you become at actually what you do. That is where you actually get to start. Now, here are some platforms you can actually start on. Number one is Fiverr. This one is ideal for beginners where you create gigs. Now, gigs are services for logo design, writing, or voiceovers. Clients are actually going to search and place orders. You don't have to pitch, all right? So a client is going to reach out to you directly on Fiverr. You can start with low prices to build reviews, then gradually increase your rates, okay? So you can charge a little, just a small price. But as you keep growing and advancing, you can actually start charging higher. Fiverr is good for beginners. It is ideal for creatives, writers, designers, and virtual assistants, okay? Number two is Upwork. Upwork is more competitive and long-term. So what you do is that you apply to job posts and you send proposals. On Upwork, you normally send proposals. Yeah. Someone is looking for someone who can do this and this, you send a proposal. Now, on Upwork, you might need a strong profile. Okay. You might also probably need work samples, that is a portfolio. It is very good for long-term, high-paying clients who are actually existent on the platform. It is very good for developers. There was someone who was asking about data science. This is your ideal platform. Marketers, writers, consultants, among so many other people. If you're very good in search engine optimization, search engine marketing, digital marketing, your clients are over here. Number three is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best for me. LinkedIn is the best. So why am I saying LinkedIn is the best? On LinkedIn, you are able to showcase your skills. You're also able to post valuable content and connect with potential clients. That is the good thing about using LinkedIn. Now, many freelancers are actually discovered via posts or recommendations. That's one of the things you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen. As a freelancer, you will be discovered via your posts or recommendations. I've personally been discovered severally by people on LinkedIn just by the mere fact that I'm actually consistently posting. All right. You want to create a personal brand on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very, very good for personal branding, and I would recommend it highly. Why am I saying I recommend it highly? because you're able to post your work, share your story, and engage with people consistently who might actually become your clients. So think about that. Local networks and referrals. Okay? There are people within your network. So you start by offering free services to people around you. These are friends, former classmates, small businesses, churches, and schools. And then at the end of the day, word of mouth is still very popular in Kenya. It is very, very powerful today. Like if you want to know someone who is good at something, like if tuseme hata wewe unatafuta fundi, you normally say, by the way, mnajua, do you know a fundi? Do you know this and this? And then someone tells you, oh, by the way, I know this and this. Okay? So first jobs often come from people who already trust you. Word of mouth. Okay? Word of mouth is something that is very, very good. Now, there is something I would like to refer. I just want you to learn. It's called cold outreach and personal branding. So what is cold outreach? Cold outreach is where you send DMs or emails to potential clients explaining how you can help them. And get me right, by the way. Usiende, don't go and send a DM like, oya, mimi natengenezanga malogo. Hey, there are ladies who like to say, hey, when you blue tick them, they're like, they send you a question mark. They're like, you read that message. When you blue tick them again, they're like, you're ignoring me, and then you block them. All right? If you have to reach out to someone to tell them that you're offering your services, please be very professional. Okay? You send DMs to potential clients explaining how you can help them. Si kuwajulia hali and saying, hey, no, you be very clear with your communication. You also need to start investing in a personal brand. Personal branding is where you post your expertise online so that people can actually come to you. Now, instead of you pitching, you make people come to you. And you do this by using and utilizing a personal brand. Okay? So you're going to use a tool like Notion or Google Sheets to build a very simple portfolio. So what is a portfolio? A portfolio can be a very simple document, a very simple file, or a very simple link that explains what you do. You can use tools like Notion, you can use tools like Canva to create a portfolio. Okay? Cold outreach plus personal branding. Create a personal brand on LinkedIn. Let people know you as the go-to person or professional in a specific field. All right? That is how you actually get people to know that you do that. And then you do cold outreach. You offer your services. You DM people and provide your services. Okay? Like if you realize you can provide a solution to someone, DM them. Reach out to them and tell them you can actually get to provide specific services. Listen, the more visible and credible you are online, the easier it is to get freelance clients, even without a platform. You might not be needing a platform, really. What I think is visibility and credibility. Post consistently. Like, let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give you an example of LinkedIn. I don't know why. How many guys over here are on LinkedIn? I'm speaking Greek. How many people are on LinkedIn, by the way? And not on LinkedIn to brag. Yeah, there are guys who are always bragging. Happy to have gotten a new dog in this job. Happy to have gotten this new machine, coffee machine. I honestly hate those guys who brag on LinkedIn. Like, why do you have to spend all the time, excited to have been part of this initiative? Yeah, this initiative was a DAO opener, was an eye opener to me, and I'm so glad. And I hear you've just moved from storekeeper to senior storekeeper. I mean, sometimes that's the thing. So post consistently on LinkedIn. Yeah. So this is an example of a LinkedIn. This is my example of LinkedIn. I've been posting consistently on LinkedIn. Like I do between 4 to 8 posts a day on LinkedIn. It's very good. I've gotten several clients. Like last month, let me say nilikuwa pabaya. Last month I was in a bad place. I had no clients and $0 in my bank account. And LinkedIn came through for me. I got like 2 clients. And you see, if you get like 2 clients paying you 60K each for a website, that's good enough. So think about that. LinkedIn is very, very good. You post, but I'm not saying you start posting about anything. Just post valuable stuff. I normally say that if you can post something that is valuable, Something valuable is something that can help someone. It doesn't help you really, but it helps someone else. So post valuable stuff on LinkedIn. But then LinkedIn really works. It honestly really, really works. And I would recommend you actually go ahead and try it. Good. We're almost done with the session, ladies and gentlemen. Let me proceed on very fast. Now, here are some of the tools that you might need as a freelancer. Number one, you can use tools like Google Docs. Google Docs, these are productivity and communication tools. Google Docs, you use them for writing, editing, sharing documents professionally. Gmail for professional communication with clients. Zoom or Google Meet for client meetings, interviews, and project discussions. Google Drive, you use it for file storage and sharing of work samples or large files. Another tool that you might use for communication is WhatsApp. Okay? Now, always keep your documents well organized and backed up. Okay? If you have documents that you're dealing with for a client, organize them very well on a Google Drive folder. Here's what I mean. Let me show you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you my Google Drive. I hope we're not going to find something risky. I hope there's nothing risky over here to see. So organize your stuff very well. Like you see, this is me organizing my stuff very well in a folder. You see? Everything, put everything in a folder in such a way that if someone came to you and told you, hey, where are the files? You can easily open them up and tell them, here are the files. Okay? Make sure that you're so well organized that just stay organized. Let me just say that. Be organized, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? Organized. Be a very organized person. AI and creative tools. The first tool that I think everyone needs to learn as a freelancer is ChatGPT. So what can you use ChatGPT for? Writing emails, captions, bios, scripts, research. Okay, you can use ChatGPT for that. Canva. You can use Canva to design posters, logo, and social media content. Freepik. The guys who always ask me, how do you generate those images using AI? How do you generate those images using AI? I use an AI tool called Freepik. All right. Freepik has an AI suite. This is what I actually get to use. Okay. I can easily generate an image of like, first of all, you have to train the AI by giving it images of yourself. Okay. When you give it images of yourself, you are able to now go ahead and just give it prompts. Like, for example, I can select my character and say, generate an image of Elvis, an African Kenyan. I hope that's the right word. Working in a posh office. He is busy and fixed on his laptop. You can say the office has a wooden finish and a fancy looking desk. A cat is seated on the desk. You can try something like that. And when you click on generate, it is actually going to generate that particular image for you. Okay. So this is an AI tool that can also get to save you time. It can help you with creativity. Yeah. Like if you're a freelancer, like if you're creating social media posts, you can even do this for your clients. Like this is an image I've generated. So I want to show you the image I have been able to generate. What do you think about that image, ladies and gentlemen? That's the image. This is my cat. This is me working in an office. All right. Let me get you another image. Let me get you to the next image. There are all those guys who are asking me how I actually generate these images. This is how I do it. So you can see that's the AI tool I actually get to use. And it's amazing to also learn how to use some of these AI tools. They will position you more as an expert. All right. So I'm going to be creating a course on this, of course, and I'll show you how to actually get to generate such images. In fact, you can even go ahead and create a video from it. That's a good thing about these AI tools. Okay. So let me proceed on, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about ChatGPT, Canva. In fact, like for anyone, I think I would recommend just know how to use ChatGPT and Canva for a start as a freelancer. You don't need to be an expert designer. These tools can actually give you a head start. Canva especially. It can really give you a that. Like probably if you're not so much into design and you're not very good at all this stuff, you can easily get to just use these AI tools just to be better at what you do. It's really going to help you, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We've talked about payment platforms. We have PayPal, Interend, and M-Pesa. Interend is Kenyan-friendly USD collection with M-Pesa withdraw. You receive payments onto Interend, and you can actually just get to withdraw the money directly, okay, to your M-Pesa, or you can even withdraw directly to your bank account. It all depends on your preference. Yeah, M-Pesa, like if you're dealing with local clients, M-Pesa is probably the best. Yes, FreePick needs you to actually subscribe. You're going to be paying some money every month. I normally pay around 4,500 every month to FreePick for the subscription. Now, always send invoices and confirm payment before delivering final work. Let me repeat that. Always send invoices and confirm payment before delivering final work. There are clients who will pay, who will tell you that they have already paid and they're going to send you a transaction message. Until that money hits your account, that is when you send the final files. Okay? I had an ordeal with a client. The client sent me 1 shilling. The client sent literally 1 shilling. And the work that was supposed to be done was worth 2,500 Kenyan shillings. This client sent me 1 shilling and then edited the message, akaweka 2,500. Now, the guy was stupid enough to think that I don't receive notifications from my bank. And I received a notification of 1 shilling. And the guy is here like, I've already paid you. Why should you be sending me all the funds? And then I told him, boss, you've sent me 1 shilling. And then he started saying, no, how could I send you 1 shilling? And it has come with your name and your details. I found the guy very crafty. Well, I don't know how to reverse 1 shilling. It's hard to call Safaricom and tell them, reverse 1 shilling. So I just sent the guy 1 shilling back again and told him, thank you for the business. Yeah. Always send invoices and confirm payment before delivering final work. Okay. If those are some of the things that you need to understand as you even continue with your freelance journey. Never send files until you've received your payment. Now, here's some tools that you can actually also get to use for your portfolio. A portfolio is just meant to showcase what you can do as a freelancer. Number 1 is Behance. There's a tool called Behance. It is very good for creatives. You can do designs, you can do illustrations, and you can even do branding on Behance. Number 2 is Notion. Notion is also an amazing platform that allows you to create a very simple and a free portfolio. Very, very perfect. My personal recommendation is for you to own your personal website. Have your own website. It is a good long-term move. It shows that you're a serious professional. Okay? Have your own website. It showcases what you do. It showcases your rate card, and it gives an explanation of the various services you actually get to provide. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. A good portfolio is equals to proof that you can actually get to deliver. If you have 3 to 4 strong samples, they can actually get you hired. So this is what I mean. You're a logo designer. As we said earlier, mdomo mingi wacha. Don't speak a lot. Show people proof that you can actually get to deliver, right? So you use a portfolio. Show us logos that you've created. Show us images that you've edited, videos that you've edited. That is how you actually get paid, all right? You need to invest in a good portfolio. Everything has challenges. Let me talk about some of the challenges that you might encounter as a freelancer. Number 1 is inconsistent income. Now, some of the months you might be busy at some months, and other months are not profitable. Others are dry. Yeah, there are days you're eating meat and ugali, and there are days you're eating cabbage and githeri. Yeah. Number 2, you don't get a salary. You earn what you produce. So if you're able, you see, the good thing about freelancing is you can move from 10,000 shillings to 100,000 Kenyan shillings just by the mere fact that you're able to do better, more work, and deliver exceptionally. You're not getting a salary. Remember this. As a freelancer, you can't stipulate and say, like, I'm supposed to be making 50,000 every month. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay? So you have to have financial discipline. You need to have saving habits and long-term thinking. The guys who make money, you're a freelancer, a client pays you 5,000 deposit. Wewe unapotea, unaenda Naivasha with 5,000 shillings. Like, I don't know. Some freelancers are very interesting. Someone gets a deposit of 10,000 shillings and they're already planning a trip to Morocco with 10,000 shillings. Yeah. So financial discipline is really important. First of all, the income is not going to be very, very consistent. It is not going to be very consistent. Always aim to build recurring income through retainers or regular clients. So what you want to do is, instead of looking for new clients every month, you have at least 2 to 3 or 4 clients who are consistently paying you some money. Like if you do social media management and you're charging 30,000 every month, if you can get 3 clients who can consistently pay you 30,000 every month, that is 90,000. As you move on, you can actually scale up by learning better skills like digital marketing. And now instead of 30,000, you tell them it's 60,000 every month. All right. If you're left with 2 clients, that's 120,000. That's a win for you. Okay. So the idea is consistent income, getting retainer clients or regular clients. They can actually get to help you. Number 2 is difficult clients. You might find difficult clients. They delay your payments, they change the scope of work midway, or they ghost you. Umefanya kazi, you've done a lot of work, and then the client disappears, or they ghost you. Right? Others don't give clear instructions or expect miracles on a small budget. They're telling you they want a website like Tesla's, but they have a budget of 2,000 shillings. Yeah, those are some of the problems that you might encounter. Learning to set boundaries. You need to set clear agreements and charge fairly. In fact, let me tell you, I had this lady and the brother. The brother is in the United States of America. So these guys, I've never forgotten those clients. Those were the worst clients I've ever dealt with. So the sister contracts me to design a website for them. I do the website, and when I was just about to complete and hand over the website, they start telling me there are amendments that they need done, and they send me like 20 documents that need to be added in the website. And I told them, unfortunately, this was not available in the beginning of the project. So let me just stop it there, take the job. And the brother called me a thief. And I remember the sister went to my Facebook page and started spamming me. Like she went and started posting things. Like someone, literally, I don't know, some people can really be mad. She went and started posting insults in every single post I had done. Hey, every single post. And I sat down and wondered, if you guys had paid me, if you had paid me really, simngenitusi vibaya sana. Mind you, you've not been paid, right? So you can imagine this is the difficulty you're having to deal with some clients, okay? Another client is going to text you at 2 a.m. in the morning, asking you about the details of a project. And I don't know, miraculously, they expect you to respond. So when you respond the following day at 8:30 a.m., the client is like, you delayed me, you have to get used to this. One of the things I like to recommend is this: emotional intelligence. If you ever get an abusive client, don't even think twice. Quit that job. Quit it like a toxic relationship. Quit it. Recently, I had an ordeal with a lady. This lady calls me and sends me a message on WhatsApp, and she says that she wants me to do a website for them. I had not seen the message, unfortunately, so I responded after quite some time. And the lady was like, you take our work very seriously. If you cannot take our work. And I was like, listen, you've not even paid me a shilling. You've not even given me a job. You've not even had a meeting with you. And you're already insulting me on the first 2 minutes. She was a red flag. And I had to block her. So emotional intelligence is very important. Be the mature one. I normally tell people, don't be afraid of blocking clients. All right? Waonyeshe pia you have morals and values. You also have boundaries. And stop with this thing that you respect your elders. There are people who say that. Respect your elders only when they have earned it. Let me repeat that again. Because there's a misconception that so many young people are, you're entrenched to believe in. Respect your elders only when they have earned it. So, if someone comes and insults you in your comment section, or maybe he's a client that you're dealing with, 56-year-old, and they're insulting you, don't disrespect them. Respect yourself. All right? So how do you respect yourself? Setting clear boundaries. I'm sorry for the disappointment. but I'm going to have to decline your project. Thank you and have yourself a good day. If you can, block them. Show them that you have the ability to sit down and manage your emotions. This is one of the things I recommend to so many young people. Majority of our parents, majority of our elder people have not been taught emotional intelligence. That is why you find that so many young people, especially Gen Zs, are having emotional traumas because of the problems that you have to be raised with because of two human beings who raised you without emotional intelligence. You have to be very, very emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent. If something is something that can actually trigger you, you become the mature one. You need to understand the values behind emotional intelligence. You'll be more relaxed. This applies all over, in relationships, in business, at work. You have to be the mature one. If a client is insultive, don't insult them. Show them that you don't need their money. In fact, when you have the ability to say no to clients, they find more value in you. All right? And don't entertain the aspect. Like, for example, someone sends you a message and tells you, we kumbafu. There are clients who think like that. They send you like, we kumbafu, kazi yangu iko wapi? Listen, that is already a red flag. Communicate it immediately. Most of the time, people have been taught to entertain nonsense in the name of making sure that you don't have to get paid by insults. You tell the client, listen, I'm not going to allow you to insult me, so I'm not going to be continuing with your project. As stipulated in the contract, you are to send me a 60% deposit after this particular milestone was to be achieved. Don't even send me the money. Your respect is very, very important. And also remember to respect clients. So many clients will come to you very respectfully. All right? So respect them, communicate with them effectively. Okay? So dealing with difficult clients, I think it also stems from you learning how to manage your emotions. Okay? If a client is insultive, don't even bother. Let them go and seek counseling. It's not your job to work for them. All right? As they continue. And if you have traumas, pia wewe, if you have traumas, make sure you sort them out. Because you might be going to work with a client and you're all angry, and some clients are very good, but because of your anger issues and your inability to manage your emotions, it's a big problem. Yeah. This is something I had to struggle with myself, because at one point, I was really like, uko tu na makasiriko. All right. So it's important for you to really get to master emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. If a client pisses you off, walk away with your respect. The more you start an alteration, the moment you start insulting each other, munabishana for 3 hours, right? You need to stop it. You say, kimeumana, I'm going to get myself another new client. So think about that. Good. Self-discipline. This is something that most people will struggle with. Self-discipline. When you don't have a boss, when you don't have an office, when you don't have anyone to check on what you're actually doing, do you know how dangerous that is? Let me tell you, it is dangerous. Waking up in the morning, you've woken up at 7:30 a.m., no one is there to tell you what to do. You don't have an office, and no one is checking whether you're working. That is honestly dangerous. I call it dangerous freedom. Honestly, it's not bad. You can wake up in the morning and decide that today, leo nalala Turkana. No one is going to ask you a question. If you fuel your car and you go to Turkana, no one is going to ask you a question. As a freelancer, you're able to create your own structure, meet deadlines, and deliver consistently. You will find distractions. Distractions are what? Phone, social media, Netflix. These ones are actually your biggest threat. So what you do, use tools like Google Calendar or Notion to manage your time. It's very, very good. Number 4 is the learning curve. As a freelancer, most of the time you're going to be learning. So you need to learn how to communicate professionally. Usianze kutumia oya na hey, hi, hey, sasa. No, you don't communicate like that to your clients. Number 2 is you need to learn how to use digital tools. All right. You also need to know how to manage projects. Project management. There's a very good software called ClickUp. You can use ClickUp for project management. And how do you handle feedback? All right. If a client comes and tells you, you're a very shoddy person, how do you design such a bad website? Even my grandmother doesn't like it. Yeah. How do you handle feedback? Ama utamwambia we kwenda wewe, we kwenda. There are guys who like to use words like umbwa. Yeah. So listen, learn how to handle feedback. How do you handle feedback, especially from your clients? If a client comes and tells you, hey, I don't know, learn how to handle feedback. Be ready to keep learning. You learn. Every job that you actually do teaches you something new. Okay? Every job that you do teaches you something new. So here's the good news. All challenges are actually manageable with time, practice, and guidance. Freelancing rewards those who grow. Skills, systems, and mindset are your tools for success. Think about that. Now, here are a few things that you need to learn as a freelancer, some things that can actually allow you to win. Number one is pick one skill and build on it. One skill. I've said pick one skill and build on it. Don't try to learn everything at once. Focus on one marketable skill. If it's writing, design, web design, virtual assistants, etc., focus on one. Learn it, practice it, and create 2 to 3 sample projects to showcase. Let me repeat that. Learn it, practice it, and create 2 to 3 projects to showcase what you can do. And remember, mastery is better than multitasking. Master one thing. There's a famous quote from Bruce Lee. I don't know if it's Bruce Lee. Fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times than one man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. 10,000? Wait. Fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times than the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. I think the idea behind that is mastery. One thing, master it. 10,000 hours make you a master at something. Invest your 10,000 hours. Can you do that? Build a strong portfolio, online profile. You can decide to use any profile, Fiverr, Upwork, or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an ideal start. You need to create a profile that has the following. Number one, a clear headline. What is it that you do? I help businesses grow with clean web design. That is you. Number two, you need to have a professional photo. Yeah. If you have a selfie as your professional photo, you need to change that. You also need to have a simple bio that has the various services that you actually get to offer. And then you also need to have portfolio samples, some of the things that you can actually get to do. You also need to learn how to communicate professionally. Most guys don't know how to communicate professionally. Like, there's so many freelancers I hear. You call a client and you're like, ulisema tufanye nini hapa? Ati ulikuwa unasema aje? Ulisema. Let me tell you, communication is going to make you lose clients or build clients. Like, if you are talking to a client, hi, Anne, my name is Elvis. I'm calling in regards to the project that we actually began, and I just wanted to give you an update. Or you can say, hi, Anne, good evening. How are you doing? I just wanted to give you an update on the progress of the website that we were creating. Currently, I've been able to customize the website. I've been able to set the font. I've also been able to build the header and the footer as well. Apart from that, I've also been able to add colors, the specific colors as per your brand identity. I just thought that you should know that is what I've been able to do for the day. And I will give you another update tomorrow. Very nice communication, right? When it's time to ask for money, you ask for money very professionally, right? Hi, Wamboi, my name is, don't say my name. Hi, Wamboi, I'm just not, or you can even, in fact, if you can, if it's someone older than you, call them Mr., call them Mrs., right? Call them that. If it's a lady, Madam, Sir, but they call them, Sir, how are you doing, sir, today? Good evening, Chief. My name, why am I remembering Elvis? I'd like to ask, I'm writing in regards to the final payment regarding the project. We've already completed the project. We've made the amendments, and I think I can actually send you the final invoice for you to for you to sort out. If you need any clarification, you can as well reach out to me. But like kutumia mtu message, hi, balance. Don't do that. Learn how to write clear emails, proposals, and updates. Always confirm instructions, ask questions, and deliver on time. 1 week, let it be 1 week. 10 days, 10 days. 24 hours, 24 hours. Professionalism builds trust, and professionalism builds trust, and it gets you repeat work. Clients are actually going to keep coming back to you. Number 4, be patient, consistent, and keep learning. Your first job as a freelancer may actually take days or weeks, but don't quit. Don't say this thing is not working. Apply daily, post your work, and improve your process. Use free resources, YouTube, blogs, ChatGPT, and online courses, right? Learn all these things. The freelancers who win are not the fastest. They're the ones who are the most consistent. That is something for you to remember. So winning is equals to skill plus visibility plus reliability. For you to win as a freelancer, you have to be very skilled. You have to be very visible. You have to be also very, very visible. And you have to really also be very reliable. Okay, that's something that you have to remember. If you can deliver value and show up consistently, you will grow faster than you actually think. All right, that's something to remember. So I'm going to end the session tonight by giving you a 30-day plan. Your first 30 days. So here's what you're going to be doing for the next 30 days. The first week is you're going to choose one skill and learn it. So you pick a skill you can start with. An example of that particular skill would be writing, design, transcription kidogo, but I don't recommend it. I just don't. Virtual assistants. Number 2, use free learning resources. Okay? Free. I've not said paid. Free resources. An example would be YouTube. You can use YouTube to learn by getting tutorials, how to design a logo with Canva. You can also get information from blog posts and tutorials. And you can even get to use ChatGPT for quick questions and examples. ChatGPT for quick questions and examples. Create a basic routine, 1 to 2 hours a day for focused learning. 1 to 2 hours a day for focused learning. The best thing you can do is to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and take only 1 hour every day. 6 to 7 a.m., learn something. It doesn't have to be 5 a.m. 6 a.m. is okay. Wake up at 6 a.m., dedicate that particular time to learn a specific skill, especially in the morning hours. Week 2 is you create sample work. Remember, you've picked a beginner's skill, something like virtual assistant, social media management. Week number 2 is you use what you have learned to create 3 to 5 portfolio examples. For example, if you're writing, you can actually write 2 blog articles or website pages. If you're a designer, design a logo, a social media post, or even a flyer. If you're into virtual assistants, create sample spreadsheets or even calendar plans. You can upload the files on Behance, Google Drive, or Notion. You can also build a simple portfolio website using Canva or Notion. That is week 2. Week 3, set up your online presence. You can open up accounts on platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, depending on your preference. Write your bio and service descriptions. That is your bio, who you are and what you do. Number 3, you can add your portfolio, the things that you can actually do. And then get yourself a professional email. I normally recommend Gmail. Gmail is very, very good, like Elvis Gitau at gmail.com. It's a very good email you can use. Don't wait to be perfect. Publish your profile and improve over time. That is my recommendation. Publish it as it is. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity. And finally, week 4, start applying and marketing yourself. You can apply between 2 to 5 jobs per day. Upwork, Fiverr, or Facebook groups. But you can also get jobs on Facebook groups. Share your work online, that is on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even on your WhatsApp status. Put a WhatsApp status of what you can do and tell people in your network, I now offer the following services. I'm now a graphic designer. I can create posters using Canva. Remember, it doesn't have to be a 30-day plan. It can actually even be a 60-day or a 90-day plan. You don't have to rush everything. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be good. Good is enough. Okay? You can use an example of a message like this. For example, if you want to let people know you offer the following services. Hi, I've recently started offering virtual assistant services. Let me know if you or someone you know needs the services, okay? Or needs help. Hi, I've recently started offering web design services. Let me know if you or someone else you know needs help in this. So that is how you can actually get to do that. In summary, in 30 days, you should have, number one, a focused skill, one focused skill, 3 portfolio samples, 3 or more, a basic online profile, LinkedIn, Fiverr, or Upwork. You can probably have sent your first job applications, okay? And probably a new level of confidence. Build your confidence like that. So here are some final thoughts. Freelancing is not a shortcut, but it is a real path. It won't make you rich overnight, but it can give you freedom, income, and skills if you treat it like a profession. It rewards consistency, not luck. You don't need to be perfect, just be very consistent. Many people many people actually get to wait until they are ready. I don't think you need to. Start with what you know, learn as you go, improve as you work. Let me repeat that statement again. Start with what you know, learn as you go, improve as you work. The market doesn't hire perfection, it hires reliable people who show up. Start small, improve daily, and stay visible. One job leads to another. One post can attract a client. One happy client can bring you 5 or 10 more. The key is to take action, not just a dream. Do, learn, and repeat. Do, learn, and repeat. Your freelancing journey starts with one step. You already have what it takes, the tools available, the clients actually get to exist. Now, all is left is you showing up. That is my recommendation, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, we've come to the end of our session tonight. Again, I welcome you to our classes that are going to be starting next week on Monday. That is Night School Computer Literacy and Digital Literacy classes. They're meant to help you understand how to use digital tools and get started with your journey on freelancing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's already 10:17. Thank you so much for everyone who's been part of this session. We have ended the session with how many people? Around 690 people. We started around 900. We are now 690 people. Google Meet 332. Watu wameanza kushuka, but it's still okay. On TikTok 270. So it's good. Thank you everyone for being part of the session tonight. I really hope you've learned something. I remember, welcome to our classes next week. We're starting on Monday. And I really hope you've learned something. You can start your journey in freelancing, by the way. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot you can do. It all depends with the person who takes action. Remember, it's not about even being the best at what you do, all right? It's about you having just some simple knowledge. It's simplicity that pays people. It's not the complex stuff, all right? You start where you are, you improve as you go, you learn as you work, okay? Good. For those guys who are asking whether they can reach me, I think, Susan, you can pin the WhatsApp number over here. You can pin the WhatsApp number. But remember, communication is also important. Like when you're sending your inquiry, make sure that you're perfect in it. Something else to add, by the way, in freelancing, learn how to communicate properly. Communication skills are very, very important. How you write, how you speak. There are guys who don't know how to speak. Unaongeanga madhogodhanyo. You speak things that people can't understand. Your communication skills have to be very, very perfect. We have also been recording this session, so it's going to be available by tomorrow. Yeah, for those guys who want to just maybe rewatch this session, it's going to be available tomorrow. But remember, your communication skills really matter. Let me just say that, ladies and gentlemen. Communication is very, very, even in relationships. But then, relationships nowadays, most of the time, they're failing because of communication skills and emotional intelligence. That's one of the reasons as to why they're failing. We don't have empathy for each other. We don't know how to communicate with each other. Sit with your girlfriend or your boyfriend down, and you're going to realize that the biggest problem, that the reason as to why most people are fighting, is communication skills. You don't know how to communicate how you're feeling. Kwani hajui inafaa kukula madazi, We don't know. You have to communicate, okay? So communication is really important, not only even in personal relationships, but it's also important in business relationships. How you communicate is going to showcase whether you are a professional or not. So improve on your communication skills. Emotional intelligence is important. Usiropokwe ati because your payment has been delayed, you start ranting on social media. All right? You start ranting on social media saying, oh, this client. No. Emotional intelligence plays a very, very vital role for you as a freelancer. It's going to allow you to know the practice of managing your emotions before you actually burst out and say something that you should not have said, especially when dealing with clients. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of the session tonight. Remember, I would really appreciate if you guys were part of our classes starting next week and more of the classes that are actually going to be coming up. Most importantly, it is always a good day to learn a skill. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the guys on TikTok. Thank you for the guys on Google Meet. And thank you for everyone who was in the session on Facebook, on every platform. I appreciate. I really hope you've learned something tonight. And maybe without any further ado, I just want to end the session at that specific point. Good. There's an interesting question I'm seeing over here. Let me see this question. Oh, it has disappeared. I lost one client. I am a data analyst and I have opened an agency where I offer data science services, graphic design, and web design services. Can you talk about marketing and branding strategies? Cesar, why would you confuse yourself with all these services? You're a data analyst, you offer data science services, you offer graphic design services, you offer web design services. Jesus Christ. These are so many services. Focus on one thing. Focus on one thing. You can't be selling all those things. People need to know you for one thing, and that's why probably you're confused. Because now, when I come to your office, I don't know if I want you to do a website for me. You need to be very, very specific. Okay? Let me see. Let me see the other question. What are some of the mistakes you made early in freelancing that others should avoid? Mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I actually made was thinking that it's companies. I used to think that it's companies that have the most money. And I honestly came to realize, by the way, companies have the most money, but they pay the worst. There's a company, a very good company I was working with. I don't know, I don't remember. It's one that does polls. This company, they only used to pay me 6,000 per month for me to do infographics for them. But to get that 6,000 shillings was a lot of trouble. You have to go through finance, and the accountant has to approve, then who has to approve? And then at the same time, if I go and design a logo for Kamau is going to pay me my 2,000. By the time that 6,000 Kenyan shillings has come, I've already made like that 5,000 shillings by working for individuals. So remember, the money is not with companies, it is held by people. So if you can really get to deliver and provide your services to people, you stand a better chance at staying moneyed. Those are some of the mistakes. I also made a mistake of receiving payments directly to M-Pesa. This dude reversed money. Wow, lol. Mse amenitumia deposit na reverse. I called Safaricom and they were like, there is nothing they can do. This guy reversed money. It wasn't even a deposit. It was a full payment and I had already sent the files. My recommendation is you get yourself a till number. It's going to really help you. Get yourself a till number that directs money to your bank account. Na usitumie pochi. Pochi ni ya watu wa soko. Go get yourself a till number or a pay bill. Yeah? If you can, that is the best thing you can do. A till number or a pay bill. But before then, you need to register your business on eCitizen. Go register. Don't register a company. Remember this, you don't have to register a company. Everyone is in a rush to run a company. I think it's a waste of time. Just with like 1,300 shillings, you've registered a business in Kenya. And you see, you just have to use your own KRA PIN. Yeah, it's good. Also, another mistake is invoicing. When you're sending invoices, use like I've been using Zoho. There's also Odoo. These are some of the tools that you can also get to understand how to use. Odoo is good. Odoo is a very good platform, by the way. Yeah, Odoo is good. You can also use Zoho. Zoho is also very good. These are platforms. Like, for example, when someone asks you for an invoice, most freelancers go and start typing documents in Microsoft Office Word. Yeah. Learn how to use such tools. And then, for Christ's sake, just know how to use ChatGPT. I find so many freelancers complaining and saying, oh, ChatGPT, it's so hard to use. No, let me show you a very simple thing that you can use ChatGPT for. All right. You can use ChatGPT. For example, you can even say, an example is, I am building my freelance business. Suggest a name I can give for the freelancing business. It's your chatting, it's your guy, like you chat with ChatGPT. Yeah. For example, you can give it a name, professional and personal brand, Elvis W Studio Gitau Digital, freelancing and digital forecast. It can give you so many names. Okay. For example, if you don't know how to get clients, you can say, how can I get clients? Let's say you have a deadline in 6 months. You can easily get to use ChatGPT for that. So learn how to use some of these tools. I mean, most freelancers just don't understand how they can actually get to benefit from this. Now, yeah, so please just have a little bit of a grasp of how you can use such tools. Yeah, and just like that, I bring my session to a close. I hope you've learned something. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this. And I'm glad you have learned. If you have learned something, good.